I'll tell you what I think. I think hate is a strong word. And I think those that hate you, they do so because it's their choice. You need not hate them. Because quite often, hate is a result of misunderstanding or perceptions that are not real. I know what I'm talking about. A few days ago, I had a conversation with a relative, and the suggestion is that I ought to stop doing what I'm doing because my grammar is awful and my spelling is terrible and that I'm just embarrassing the Clark name. And I thought about that. At first I was a little depressed about that. Then I thought, well, I am a Clark and I am sorry that this particular relative feels that way, but it is what it is, and I am who I am. So, to you I will tell you this. Don't follow suit. Do not hate in return, because I'm going to tell you, and this is very important, thoughts have wings. Thoughts have wings. So, what you think, you become. And quite often what you think become reality. Speaking about that, let's switch the conversation to something positive in very difficult times. And Tony, my cousin Tony, tell me that the hurricane will be hitting Treasure Beach in Jamaica. I have been to Treasure Beach, so I am personalizing what is about to happen in Jamaica. But not only that, but my nephew George, his wife Sharon, his brothers and his sister all live near Treasure Beach. Now, I'm sending positive thoughts. I'm sending positive thoughts. And I'm visualizing that they're all well. Because thoughts have wings. Thoughts are powerful. If you don't believe it, look at that scientific experiment that was done by the Japanese scientist. When he projected positive thoughts to water molecules, they changed for the better. When he projected negative thoughts to the water molecules, it become a discombobulated mess. Now, I happen to know that most of your body, almost all of your body, is filled with liquid, water. Your thoughts can affect even the smallest molecule in your body. Now that's my belief. I'm not a scientist, so I have no proof, but I believe that. Just as I believe that by sitting here, meditating, visualizing my relatives and friends worldwide, visualizing them being safe and secure will have effect on the universe and what happens. Now, I can only ask you to help me to visualize them being safe. This hurricane, Melissa, is not a joke. It is projected to be a Category 5 hurricane. It is not a joke. So what we can do is that we can visualize and see each person, make it personal, and see them safe and sound. No matter how long it takes, personalize your vision and see them safe and sound. Finally, I want to say something. I used to be in the United States Navy, and many years ago I know when there was catastrophe for somewhere, the Navy ships would go there and render aid to the people involved. How do I know that? Because I was involved in rendering aid to the people of Haiti. After one of their catastrophes, my shipmates and I, the ship pulled into Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and we went up in the mountains and we worked on a school up there. Now, there was no press release about this. Nobody knew about this, but the guys on the ship, we felt pride in helping those in need. Well, while I was active duty, United States Navy ships would do that often. They would go into ports that needed help, and they would bring in food and help to the ports. True. Trust me. You know, in Israel, all my shipmates went in to an orphanage up there, and they helped. We do that. That's what the Navy does. Well, that's what the Navy used to do. I'm old. I retired back in 1985, and I read on the internet that our Navy is being used for other purposes. I can only hope that certain traditions will stand. I hope that after the hurricane in Jamaica, Navy ships will pull into the ports and offer aid. I can only hope.